Welcome to Live Vedanta, a podcast about simple living and high thinking. I'm so glad you're here. On this week's episode, we're exploring how life is wonderful, but how living can be hard sometimes. Everything and everyone around us is constantly changing. So why is it that we get so affected by articles, being, or circumstances? What can we do to change our identification from the limited to the limitless? In this episode, our guide Vivek Ji describes how we can evolve from laziness and aggressiveness to quietness and finally to completeness.
Hari Om, and greetings from Niagara Falls. By show of hands, how many of you are practitioners of yoga? Okay. By show of hands, how many of you are teachers of yoga? Okay. Those who had their hands up that you're practicing yoga, how do you know that you're practicing yoga? Please share with me, share with everyone. How do you know that you're a practitioner of yoga? That you're calmer, that you do this every day, that you're quieter. On my first screen, I didn't see any hands up for teachers of yoga, but suppose you were a teacher of yoga, what would you teach? What does teaching yoga entail? High thinking, simple living. The right posture and breathing. Okay. Yogeshwara. Who is that? Bhagavan Krishna. The original teacher of yoga has shared, Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasi. Renouncing, disidentifying from every thought. Yoga arudaha tada uchyate. The one who has completed this, that person has practiced yoga. If you have quieted your mind completely, then that is called yoga. So I'm going to ask everyone again. How many are practicing yoga? How many are teaching yoga? Our course, 100 Steps to Infinity, the focus is infinity. Infinity means past the finite. The mind is finite. And we are going past the mind one step at a time. On Sundays, we immerse ourselves in Bhakti Yoga. On Tuesdays, in Jnana Yoga. On Thursdays, in Karma Yoga. So 100 Steps to Infinity is also a class in yoga. Reviewing our 57th space. Guna. Temperament. Ropes pulling our personality lower or higher. Gunas condition the mood of our mind. Sattva guna, calmness, pulls us to purity. Rajoguna, aggressiveness, pulls us to power. And tamoguna, laziness, pulls us to postponement. By living intentionally, we evolve from tamas to rajas to sattva, and then beyond all conditions to peace. And your pointer, can you all see that? It looks like DNA or spaghetti. I'm laughing at myself. I'm the one who finalized all of these icons. Our next headspace, 58, tamas. In English, laziness. Today, when the boys were in the car and I was bringing them back home, Vyasa asked me, why do people litter? He saw trash on the road or the sidewalk. And I shared, it's because they're lazy. They're too lazy to put that litter where it belongs. Generalizing this and really relating this to the workshop we just completed. Tamas, laziness, is when one engages in harm to others. When Vivek litters, you are harmed. Maybe not so, but animals are definitely harmed. Plants are even more so harmed. 59, rajas. In English, selfishness. Using the same framework, selfishness is when we harm ourselves. Tamas is harming others, rajas is harming oneself. How do we do this? By inputting, an example, chemicals. It can be an intoxicant like a cigarette. It could be the food we eat that's too processed. It's not harming others, it's harming oneself. But you have to reflect. We are all interdependent, correct? If I harm myself, you are also being harmed indirectly. If I zoom into the Canadian healthcare system, who's paying for other people to be well in the hospital? Everyone. So if everyone harms themselves, they're really harming others by taxes having to be increased. Then 60 is sattva, which is quietness. Is that a real English word? Quietness? Anyone? I know philosophically it is, but technically, is it a real word? Okay. I just wanted to put this into the framework of laziness, aggressiveness, quietness. Going with the same framework, this is not harming others or harming oneself, but rather living in harmony. In our workshop, I used a completing thought of sadachara, which means your lifestyle is one of nobility. This creates inner and outer sahachara. Please try to note that word. Sahachara means harmony. So a noble lifestyle, one of quietness. This shifts us from harm to harmony. Shall we continue? 2 more spaces in today's class. 61, prakriti. 61 is prakriti. In English, matter. M-A-T-T-E-R. The etymology of the word prakriti. Kriti means creation. Prakriti, that prefix P-R-A, means special creation. We use a similar word, vibhuti. Bhuti means general creation. Vibhuti means special creation. Okay, so that's a technical perspective. Let's make this more practical. Take a moment now and look around at everything in your room, or my room if you want. Only a childish personality will look at the things in your room or my room and not wonder, what is this made of? Agreed? A childish person will not think that. They will not even inquire. Matter is also made up of matter. How so? Matter is made up of elements. In our culture, in our science, there are 5 elements. What's really fascinating about this is Upanishad shares there's 3 elements. Most of the texts we study, there are 5 elements. Do you all remember being in chemistry class? The periodic table. See how kriti becomes prakriti. You have your fundamental creation, and then it becomes more and more and more functional. Even if you study, we'll call it biology, on the left, it's like domain, correct? And then kingdom, phylum, and you keep going right, and it becomes more prakriti, more special or functional creation. Are you all impressed at how much I learned in high school? That's all I know. I barely got out of high school. These elements, there are 5: space, air, fire, water, and earth. From most causal to most gross. They make up all of the outer matter in our lives, like the world or nature, and make up the inner matter in our lives, the memory and mind and intellect and ego. Everyone's with me? Matter is made up of elements. Elements create our outer world and our inner world. From technical to more practical to most practical. How would you describe matter outside of what I've shared with you right now? Give an adjective to matter, to prakriti. Share in the chat. I think you already know this, where I'm going with this. Right away, all of you have shared. It is inert. It is changing. I want us to focus on it is changing. Your inner world, is it changing? You had your hand up for yoga, correct? That means step by step, your mind is becoming quieter. That's a change. Your outer world, is that changing? The word kali means fast. That which is changing cannot be completing. That which is changing cannot facilitate a sense of being completing. I know the English is poor, but I'm just trying to connect these words. Changing, completing, not equal. Is everyone resonating with that? Do you agree with that? But now my question is, do you live like that? With prakriti, matter, we should exercise prakriti, matter. Exercise is another word for use it, but not expect from it. Use it. Use it for your inner world to think. Use it for your outer world to help, but not to expect completion from it. So exercise, but do not expect, because that's not the nature of prakriti. Life becomes much simpler with this knowledge, yes? Knowledge, that which we're engaged in, plus seeing, like physical seeing. That really means everything you do with these equipments equals vision. Knowledge plus seeing equals vision. How should you interact with prakriti? With the vision that it is to be used, but it will not complete me. If you remove that knowledge, you're only seeing. What kind of creatures or beings live by seeing? Pashu. That's right. Pashu means animal. Why are they called pashu? Because they live by pashyati. Whatever they see, they believe in. So we're trying to nurture vision. To understand prakriti well, we have to go to our 62nd step past the mind, which is purusha. Purusha, in English, completeness. Completeness. When I was in London recently, a student in this class had asked me, she had never heard that sattva was also a rope or a limit. And I shared that it is. And now see how purusha fits into this. Laziness is to evolve into aggressiveness, which is to evolve into quietness, which is to evolve into completeness. That's called gunatita, beyond the gunas. The word purusha, the etymology of this word is purnatva, bigness, fullness, completeness. All of the entities that we engage in, outer entities are articles, beings, and circumstances. The inner entities are the body, mind, and intellect. All of these entities, they are made up of the elements, which we just explored, the 5 elements, also called prakriti. But this is made up of, this depends on existence. Purusha, purnatva, bigness, completeness, that is all existence. So existence is foundational. This expresses as elements, which expresses as entities. I'm going to share this in 2 more ways. The entities are creation. Deeper than that, the elements are the creator. Deeper than that, existence is consciousness. From creation to creator to consciousness. Or prakriti to kriti to purusha. Now, why is this relevant? Because the further you express, the more change there is. The more change there is, the less completion there is. So if I evolve in my vision, if I'm more authentic and deep in how I interact, I will tune into that which is changeless. Purusha is that which is changeless. Which is why the nature of Purusha, changelessness, is existence. Does existence ever change? I may go from waking existence to dream existence, but the existence doesn't change. How I feel that existence changes, but it doesn't change. Does awareness ever change? Bringing in sleep here. When I'm awake, I'm aware of stuff. When I'm asleep, I'm aware of lack of stuff. Now, joy is the complicated nature of changelessness for us. And you know why it's complicated? Because we keep feeling joy, but attributing this to entities. When you eat ice cream, do you feel joy? Just say yes for this example. But then I ask you, why do you feel joy? And you tell me, because it's an awesome flavor of this Haagen-Dazs ice cream. See, if one reflected, I have this desire for ice cream. Now I have ice cream. What has gone away very temporarily? The desire has gone away. It has nothing to do with ice cream. That's aggressiveness, right? Chemicals you're putting into your body. Our pursuit of joy never changes. Agreed? Whether you eat ice cream for joy or you don't eat ice cream for joy, who knows why you would do that? But if you don't eat ice cream for joy, that's still the same pursuit. It never changes. Let me share another insight into this. Purusha being the foundation, it pervades, permeates all of prakriti. It expresses as stones and plants and animals and humans. You and your driveway are of the same nature. What is the difference between you and your driveway? Your ability is the same, because you can't tell me your driveway is not infinity, because if you say that, then all of infinity is dismantled. The difference is the capability. Your driveway expresses existence, so do you. Your driveway does not have the capability, it can't capture that ability to express the awareness and joy. You can. And that is why those who are most sattvic, quiet, they can express the joy more than one who's aggressive or lazy. A lazy person, an aggressive person, and a quiet person all are capable of existence. But it's only the quiet person who captures the ability of being joy. Are you all with me? Are we playing the same game right now, or I'm on Moksha Pata and you're on Fortnite or some other game right now? The most practical perspective to what I've shared and I'm sharing. Many of you are part of Meaningful Mornings, for which I am thankful. When we meet once a week, imagine this puzzle is being developed. There's all of these dots, and every week one line connects dots. But if you do this every day, that puzzle becomes more full, faster. In Meaningful Mornings, I've been teaching contemplation. Contemplation is a changing of identification. A changing of identification. Instinctually, we are identified with matter. But those who are preparing and then contemplating, they're changing their identification from matter to spirit or completeness. Matter and spirit maybe go better. Externally, nothing changes. That's why I talked about vision. Nothing changes, but your identification changes. When you go to a mall and you go to, I don't know where this sweater is from. Let's say it's from the Gap. Who knows? You go to the Gap and you see a sweater and it's on a rack. You do not identify with it. But if you leave the store with that sweater, paid or stolen, you identify with it. Externally, it's the same sweater, but now you've contemplated on it, correct? So there's a change in identification. We have to change our identification from that which is limited to that which is limitless, but at least has less limits. So to go deeper into all of these entities are made up of elements. All of these elements are made up of existence. Identify with that. And my final thought for this class, and I already shared this, I think, last week, but I'm sharing it again. To celebrate Mahashivratri is to live like Bhagwan Shiva. Shiva is an acrostic poem for simple living, and the A is absorb the shallow. Absorb the shallow. If I want to contemplate, change my identification from matter to spirit, all of the shallowness in my outer world and inner world, I have to keep on absorbing that, which means not depend on it, not focus on it. The people that you live with, they never annoy you, correct? Shall I ask the people you live with if you annoy them? What annoys you about someone you live with, someone you work with? Maybe me. Maybe me. It's probably shallow. Correct? I was just thinking to myself about how annoying it must be for you that I'm incapable of chanting Om in a smooth way. But it's even more annoying for me. But if you get so annoyed by it, if I get so annoyed by it, then everything after that Om is lost then, correct? And to Vivek, at least, that's not annoying, like this class and Vedanta and Bhagavata and so on. So we have to absorb that, correct? From that which is changing to that which is less changing. Are you following me? This is how prakriti and purusha become more than words. You already know these words, but how are you living this? This is a karma yoga class.
If you enjoyed what you heard or want to learn more, share this episode with a friend or find us online at facebook.com/cmniagara. For those on the journey of self-development, Chinmaya Mission Niagara provides a community forum for seekers to listen, reflect, and contemplate. This podcast is produced by the Young Adults of Chinmaya Mission, an international nonprofit working to transform individuals through the knowledge of Vedanta. Until next time, inspire, love, be.